In this video, we are going to talk about how measurement is done in Google Analytics. So if you want to learn how Google Analytics work, how it collects data and then show you in Google Analytics, then let's dive in. Hi, my name is Ankit and welcome to Magazine 3 YouTube channel where we talk about everything related to WordPress. And if you want to learn more about this, then make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so that you can get notified whenever we upload our next video. So in this series of Google Analytics for beginners, in this episode, we are going to talk about how measurement is done in Google Analytics. So in the previous video, we have seen how to set up Google Analytics in the easy way on your WordPress website. And today let's talk about how it collects data and then show it in Google Analytics panel. But before that, let's try to understand what exactly Google Analytics is. So in simple terms, we can say that Google Analytics is a tool where you can see the traffic of your website and how your different pages are performing in terms of traffic. But if we talk in terms of statistics or in terms of technicalities, it's a tool with a collection of tables, and in that table we have dimensions and metrics, and that is actually the baseline of all the things you see on Google Analytics. It's all about tables in Google Analytics, and then it shows a graphical representation of that table. And what is that table consist of? That consists of two things, that is dimensions, that is the text data, and metrics, that is the numeric data. And how that actually looks, the dimension or the text data is something that you see on the left hand side, like so if you are on a traffic acquisition section of Google Analytics, you will see that on the left hand side you have the sources of traffic, which is actually a text data, so we can call it dimensions. And on the right hand side, we see all the numeric data like the users, new users or sessions and all that stuff. And all that is a numeric data. So with that, we can say that Google Analytics is actually a tool which consists of various tables made from text data as well as the numeric data, which we can say as dimensions and metrics. So now we know that we have some numeric metrics and some text data. So how both of these data is collected in Google Analytics? So for that, we need to understand the users or traffic that is visiting your WordPress website. So who is this user or traffic which is getting registered as a data in Google Analytics? Once again, in simple terms, we can define traffic as those people who are visiting your WordPress website, and that is actually getting tracked in Google Analytics tool. But if we take a closer look and define it a little bit technically, then all the data that you see on Google Analytics or all the traffic that you see on your WordPress website using Google Analytics is not actual people. They are browsers. Now let me show you that by an example. I have this website analytics open here, and as you can see that there is no visitor right now. We recently have 1 or 3 visitors. So let me just open this website in this same browser window and see what happens. So as soon as I open the website in the same browser in a new tab, it registers that as a new visitor. Now if I open a new window in the same browser, and now if I open my website, so let's see what happens. It won't count that as a new visitor because that's actually obvious. I am opening the website in different windows of the same browser. It will never count it as a different view. So that's how it actually should work. But if I open a private window or an incognito mode and then open my website in that, and let's see what happens in Google Analytics. So now it's registering the real-time visitors as 2. So now in the real-time view, we can see that active users right now are 2. Now if in case I open the same website in a new browser, and if we come back to Google Analytics, now we see that the number of active users live on the website are now 3. So with that, we can clearly say that Google Analytics is counting browsers as the visitors, not the actual humans. So if a visitor opened the same website in 3 different tabs or windows of the same browser, it will be counted as 1 visitor. And if the same visitor, single human being, opens that same website in 3 different browsers, it will be counted as 3 unique views. So now we know that the Google Analytics is counting browsers as visitors. So let's talk about how these visitors interact our website and how does that is counted in Google Analytics. So that part where a visitor visit a website, spend some time on it and then exit, that is actually counted as a session. So let's say I am a user and I open the website in a browser, and as soon as I land on that website, so let's say it's an e-commerce website, so the Google Analytics code will execute. So it will count it as session started with homepage, and after 5 minutes I move on to the category page. So that is actually page number 2 that I visited, but I am actually in the same session. And after 5 minutes I land on the product page. So now I am on page number 3, but I am still in the same session. After that, I read all the product details and then I decided to purchase that product. So I added that product in cart. I went ahead to the cart page, and that is actually the 4th page I am on, but in the same session. Again, after that, I decided to pay for that product. I finished my payment and then I visited the order confirmation page. So now I am on the 5th page, and after few minutes, now I decide to close this website or to close this tab on the browser. And that is actually the finishing point of my session. So here we can see that a visitor or a browser is visiting different pages, but the session is not changing. The time is changing when I am visiting all these different pages, but it's all happening in one single session. So when we can say that a new session is created, or what is the situation when a session will get break up? So there are 2 cases when this can happen. Number 1, if your session or if your visit is happening around the midnight. For example, if I visit the website at maybe 11:55 and I visit the home page, I visit the category page, I am on the product page, and all these 3 visits, now the time is 12 a.m. So as soon as the clock hits 12 a.m., a new session will be created automatically. And after that, I add the product to cart, I do the purchase, I visit the confirmation order page, and then I close this tab. So in this example, we have 2 sessions. One is before 12 a.m. and another session is after 12 a.m. Now example number 2, when we have 2 different sessions in the same visit, is that when a user visits a website. For example, let's take that same e-commerce example. We visit the home page of that e-commerce site, we go to the categories, and then we choose a product, and the product page is so interesting or so long that it took me 30 minutes to read all the information on that. And then I decided to add that product in my cart and then do the purchase. But the point here is that after 30 minutes, the session will get expired and a new session will be created. It will count as session number 1 till the time you landed on the home page and visited the product page. And if there is any inactivity window of 30 minutes, then it will count as session number 2. So after 30 minutes of inactivity, a new session will be created no matter on what page you are. And that's what we can see in this image as well. The user visited the home page, the category, the product, and the order confirmation page, and then goes out. So that completes one complete session. And if the same user visits the home page, category page, and maybe inactive for the next 30 minutes, in that case, a session will end and a new session will be created. So the complete life cycle of this visitor on this website will be divided in 2 different sessions. So now we know that how Google Analytics is reading all the pages we visit and how we visit that and from where, that is the browser. So now let's see how all this data is getting saved and read by Google Analytics to show us all in the Google Analytics tool. And all that is done by the magic of cookies, right? That small piece of file that gets saved on your computer, or in technical terms, I can say that these cookie files are stored in your browser. And as soon as a visitor hits any website which got Google Analytics set up on it, These cookies are responsible to create a unique code, or I should say a unique timestamp every time you visit on a website, and that will actually decide if it is a new visitor or a returning visitor. And that same cookie will decide how you are interacting on the website so that it can create and maintain the session that you are on. So all that data is saved in the cookies, and then it's used in the Google Analytics metrics, and then it is shown in the tables of Google Analytics or in the graphical way in Google Analytics tool. So this is what happens when a user visits a website. As soon as you open up a website which got Google Analytics code set up in the backend, that's what we have done in the previous video, and we have also seen in the backend code that there is Google Analytics tag added in the code. So whenever you visit a site which got Google Analytics on it, the Google Analytics code get executed, and then it will check if there is any past cookie saved in the browser. If it is not, then a new cookie will be created, and that will carry a Google Analytic ID for that particular website. Along with that, it will also carry the timestamp when this cookie is created or the timestamp of when you visited that website. So with that, the Google Analytics tool will recognize if it is a new visitor, because it will know that if the cookie is already present because you have visited that site previously as well. So once that is detected, it will segregate the visitor as a new visitor or a returning one. And then it will track your various timestamps on various pages, how you are visiting from one page to another at what time. And that is actually taken as data or the metric for our Google Analytics tables. And that's what you see in your Google Analytics as well. You have a section of new visitors as well as returning visitors. And that is actually calculated based on the cookie. If the cookie is already present in your browser, then it's automatically consider you as a returning visitor. And if the cookie is not present, then it will create the cookie and then note you as a new visitor on that website. And every time in future when you visit that website, it will count you as a returning visitor with a new timestamp. So this is how Google Analytics collects all the data and show in different tables or in graphical representation that we see in Google Analytics tool. So if you like this video, then make sure you hit the like button, and we will discuss more about Google Analytics in our upcoming videos. So if you don't want to miss those videos, then make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. So that's it for this one, and I'll see you in the next one.